Hello, it's Nikki and welcome to another Friday Favourites. As always, a mixed bag for you and hopefully there's something for everybody. The first is a place today. It's one of my favourite places in London and I really champion it because I think it's got something for everybody. And that is Hampstead Heath. Now, we are really lucky to live relatively close to Hampstead Heath. And I don't go every week, but I go very, very regularly. And it's been such... whenever I look at photographs of our family or whether it's business decisions I made or if I had an idea, often there's some kind of link to it. It's a really magical place for me. So whether that's my kids, I've got a really lovely picture of my daughter on her 3rd birthday near the bandstand. I remember going for a run there on my birthday one year and listening to this very profound podcast. It's great for walking. There's so many lovely pubs that surround it. There's so many different parts to it as well. You know, you can be very much amongst people, but then other parts feel much more like you're in the countryside. And there's great transport links depending on which way you're coming in. And it's just a really magic place. And I think sometimes, especially for tourists, the feeling is to go to, say, Hyde Park and be much more in central London. But actually, Hampstead Heath is not that far from central London. And you can also go out of Hampstead Heath. This is me getting into my geography here. Go out of Hampstead Heath. And then I would say like a 15-minute walk the other side. You can come to Primrose Hill and do a lovely loop. But there's something for everybody. If you are planning a trip to London or indeed the Heath, message me because I can point you in the right direction of buses. This is what I used to do with my pals because I've lived in London for so long now. And I was very mindful of money when I moved down. So I used to walk everywhere and I used to love that feeling. And I also at the time was going out with somebody who'd grown up in London and he was like, yeah, we're not getting on the bus. Like, we'll just go around here and this is where it is. And I really learnt the kind of the bones of certain parts of London. Some parts I don't know in the slightest, but lots of parts I do have a vague geography feeling about it. So that's my number one, Hampstead Heath. We went for my birthday a couple of weeks ago and did this lovely walk. My daughter took her scooter. The boys played football for a bit. We did a lovely walk. We went to a pub on the way home. It was great. It was so good. Number two, I've recently finished Jada Pinkett Smith's book and it was really great. And do you know what? The main takeaway, and this is why I'm mentioning it, was her grit, her resilience, her ability to make choices, and her willingness to ask bigger questions if she wasn't getting the answers that she's needed. And yes, of course, you could say, well, she's a Hollywood superstar, like she's got all the money in the world. But actually, that was one of the big takeaways, is it doesn't matter. I mean, it helps, obviously, but it doesn't matter how much money you've got. If you're not getting the answers that you need from an internal perspective, you're still seeking them. So whether or not you just buy yourself nice things or go for more therapy or whatever it might be, in the meantime, you still ultimately need the answer or the healing or the engagement, the answer to whatever's going on under the surface. It's brilliant. I've also discovered listening to things on 1.2 times, so slightly quicker than what is presented, but it's great. You get through books really quickly, and actually I don't need the long pauses, so that's been really great in terms of me increasing my reading habit. Number three, a podcast. It's called Homing In and it's by The Modern House. If you are unfamiliar with The Modern House, you're welcome. here's what you can do this weekend. If you are a property perv like I am, you're going to find so much inspiration. And I'm so interested in architecture and houses and what people do and how people live. And maybe that's the actor in me as well. But the website itself is brilliant. They've also got a couple of lovely books. They really champion exactly that, the modern house, different ways of living. And they take stunning photos. They show an array of properties, and they also have some very expensive properties, which I also enjoy. And suddenly I'm like, I don't really like the stairs in that £10 million house. It's surprising how fussy you get with these things. But they've got these great podcasts called Homing In. And they've interviewed so many different interesting people over the years about how they live, what's important to them. And it's a really gentle, calming listen. So I would highly recommend that. Number 4 is this jumper. I have it in grey and I also have it in a light purple. And I love it. It's so soft and comforting and cozy and warm. They're from M&S. I think they are something like 35 quid, maybe. I'll find a link if I can. It's got a V-neck, so you can just wear a little vest as I've got on underneath. But it's warm, but it's also kind of thin enough that you can get your big coat on or another layer. And it washes really well. Hello, I'm 43. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. Number 5, which may be a good one, especially if you are delving into Cyber Week and Black Friday and all of that. It's the Top Cashback website. I've been using this for years, and when we moved into our house, we were making a lot of bigger purchases. And essentially what you do is you go on the website and you type in the retailer that you're about to shop from, and they have most of them. So you type it in and then you press the link. This is the key bit. You press the link from that website and it will take you to the actual website and it will record your visit. And then what happens if you go ahead and you make a purchase, once that has gone through, they will give you cash back and it goes into your account. So they don't release it immediately. Sometimes it will take like 8 weeks or 4 weeks, or depending on what their payment policy is. And you can take that out as a backs payment, or equally you can change that into vouchers, and there's often a bonus for doing that as well. But I love it because it's essentially things that I'm spending money on anyway. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. You may as well. And especially when you go into, I don't know, buying tellies, or what else have we bought? A dresser for our living room, beds. You know, you can make a lovely payment back, and especially because the payment is delayed, when it pops up like, oh, here's £14, you think, well, that's great, that's lovely. And if you're spending the money anyway, it's nice to have that return. That's it for today. Come back next Friday for more Friday favorites. Sending lots of love. Subscribe to the playlist, the channel, and follow along, and I'll see you very soon. Lots of love. Bye.